Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on Bill 55 today. And I'm pleased to see this type of legislation coming forward. Of course, as other members have said, we'll have more questions in committee, but I want to take this opportunity to speak about why Bill 55 is important. And yesterday we debated Bill 17, which addresses banning flavored vaping products, which is also important. And I would argue that even more needs to be done, that these two bills are important, and yet it doesn't go far enough to fully address the major issue of youth vaping. And it doesn't just impact youth. And of course, there is a role for vaping in terms of smoking cessation. However, it impacts adults as well, and people can become addicted to vaping. And it can mean that sometimes people are unable to get off of I guess end their nicotine addiction because they become addicted to the vaping products. We know, especially with youth, that vaping can lead to a lifelong addiction in the same way that tobacco use has done that. And so tobacco and vaping companies have targeted youth and tried to make sure that there are lifelong customers there. And we know that the Canadian Cancer Society, the New Brunswick Medical Society, New Brunswick Lung Association, and the Chief Medical Officers of Health from across the country have called for further measures to be implemented. And they've been flagging this for years, and so I am pleased to see that one of those measures around the licensing requirements and around Bill 55 is one of the things that the Council for Chief Medical Officers of Health have called for, and so that is positive. And then with Bill 17, banning flavored vapor products except for the tobacco flavor, was also on the list of opportunities for I guess the federal and provincial jurisdictions. There are more in that list of things that the Council of Chief Medical Officers of Health have called for. And that includes limiting nicotine content in vaping products, including pods, to a maximum of 20 milligrams per milliliter. And one of the reasons of this is that the levels lower than this may further decrease the reason for this is so that there's not really high levels of nicotine, which can further contribute to them becoming addictive. Or being addictive, but having even lower levels than this could further decrease the addictive potential for youth. So below 20 milligrams per milliliter may even be better. To tax vaping products, like e-cigarettes, for example, considering making the age of 21 the minimum age for both tobacco and vaping products. Creating requirements for age verification for internet purchasing, and enhancing surveillance and reporting of vaping product use and population health impacts. And so that list is intended for, ideally this would happen at the federal level. However, we aren't seeing that action at the federal level, and so the different provinces and territories are needing to bring forward this type of legislation in the absence of federal action. And so I would urge government to take those actions like other provinces, including our neighbors in the Atlantic provinces, have done. And so we know Prince Edward Island has adopted I would say maybe the strongest legislation in the Atlantic provinces to increase the minimum tobacco and e-cigarette age to 21, restricting sale of e-cigarettes to adult-only specialty vape stores. Nova Scotia implemented regulations around flavor, which hopefully Bill 17 will move forward and that will happen. They've also capped nicotine levels and implemented a tax on e-cigarettes. Newfoundland and Labrador has taxed e-cigarettes. So there's while Bill 55, I think is positive, and in principle, I support this bill, and we'll have questions, of course, at committee in order to do our job as opposition members. But I think that that's positive, and then Bill 17 moving forward is positive. I don't think that it does go far enough in terms of what can be done to make sure we are preventing or at least slowing down the increase in use of vaping products, especially by youth. We know that a large percentage of youth have tried e-cigarettes, are becoming addicted, and that it can also lead to tobacco use, and we don't want to see that. In our province, we want to ensure we have strong public health measures and that we're listening to our chief medical officers of health. And so, you know, at the federal level, Dr. Tam has signed on to those calls for action that I listed out, and our own chief medical officer of health, Dr. Russell, has also signed on to that call for action. So, I guess in the end, Madam Speaker, I do support Bill 55 moving forward past second reading, and I once again urge government to bring forward more legislation to ensure that we're doing everything we can to protect our youth and to prevent any further increase in the use of vaping products by non-smokers and by youth. So thank you for the opportunity to speak to Bill 55, Madam Speaker.